A new social attitude survey shows that the West Midlands tops a national poll for the number of people who admit to being racially prejudiced. It's attributed to growing concern about the terror threat and immigration.
Yes, the figures show 35% of people in this region describe themselves as prejudiced. The national average is 30%. The biggest age group it affects are the over 55s. The report's author is Penny Young.
The figures really vary around the country, so it's striking that in inner London, for example, only 16% report some levels of racial prejudice, compared with the highest figure of 35% in the West Midlands. What's interesting is that both of these areas are both culturally and ethnically diverse. But in London, you've got a younger, more mobile, more educated population, and we know that being younger and more educated means that you're likely to be less racially prejudiced. In the West Midlands, as I say, it's a diverse area, but poorer, more deprived. And we think that that's probably something to do with it because, again, people who've got fewer qualifications are more personally threatened by immigration in terms of their personal prospects for work.
Well, earlier I spoke to Dhiren Katwar from the Asian Voice magazine in Birmingham. I began by asking him how worried he was that both young and old seem affected by these figures in the West Midlands.
Well, it's worrying, but I wouldn't be alarmed by these statistics, as it's not the first such survey, and it's not going to be the last either. But it's, as somebody who's grown up in Birmingham, a multicultural city as we know it, I have friends and colleagues from all walks of life and all ethnicities and all racial backgrounds. I must admit we get on fantastically well. So whilst the survey, I think, does show that 35% are racial prejudice, I think we need to take that with a slight pinch of salt, if I'm honest.
Do you think it's a chance that possibly people have always expressed racial prejudice rather quietly and privately, and now they're braver to do so? And in fact, there's always been 35% who feel that way.
Well, I think I do agree with that statement, actually, because with the sort of freedom of speech and with sort of more press freedom and people are sort of more tolerant, more aware of who they work with, live with, I think, racial prejudice has always been there, and it will be there. But I think we're more sort of aware to it now than ever before. So
maybe it's a good thing that we know about it, but how do we counter these feelings? They can't be good long term.
Surely they can't be. I think there are a lot of organisations and institutions which are actually putting a lot of spin on, on promoting themselves rather than promoting the benefits that would be useful for the wider community. So I would say, if so-called community leaders, if politicians, if the media, if we all work together to create more harmonious and less racially prejudiced sort of influences. And I think we all have a part to play in this. It's not just one factor. So together, I think we can make a difference if we're honest to ourselves and help make a difference to all of us.
Dhiren, thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome.
It's coming up to 13 minutes past 6.